My name is a Waterman desk pen. My name is a Waterman desk pen. My name is a Waterman desk pen. Only one of these is a Waterman desk pen. No, they're all Waterman desk pens as a matter of fact. And none of them, not a single one of them, not even one, let alone two, let alone three, are Waterman desk bases. But these are what I found whose sockets fit this Waterman pen. And what I did in my cleverness, I have three different kinds of nibs in here. Now, can you tell me which nibs I would put if I only had three Waterman desk pens and I wanted them all to be different nibs? Well, if you don't know, that's fine, because the third is sort of a random one. This one is sort of a typical rounded, flexible nib. Typical Waterman. This is what you think of when you think of a Waterman nib, is this nib. And nice and springy and rubbery, and that goes in that base. I'm looking for a new base for this one. I'll tell you in a minute what I'm looking for. Maybe you have one. This one is a stub nib, which is also quite fun. I don't write with stub nibs very much. Sometimes I have to do sort of italic lettering or Old English lettering or whatever, and I am looking for a nib like this. The last one, I think you can probably figure out what the last one will be based on your knowledge of my interests. This is a really, really fine accountant nib. I don't know if it says accountant nib on it, but it might. And I thought, a way for me, since all of these tapers look the same, how will I know which pen I want? Because, they, in the middle of the night, they trade places. You know that, don't you? They torment me in the morning. I wake up thinking I'm going to grab the accountant nib, and it's the big old stub, and I ruin my checkbook registration, whatever it's called. And I can't do that with a stub nib, for God's sake. So what I'm looking for, what I think I like this square base that could work with the stub nib because it's a squared off nib. But, I have these rectangular-ish things with this hard chiseled, randomized chiseled edge to them, which was popular at one point. I think probably a company looked at all of the desk bases that were tossed in the corner that had a little chip out of them like this one and said, well, how are we going to sell this product as two chips? I know, let's just throw them against the wall a few more times and get lots of chips. No, they were done by artisans that knew exactly how to hit the chisel against this to make a rough edge like that. So somewhere, I think I would like to get a round one, preferably smooth, not chiseled like this. It can have a dent or ding or two out of it, that's okay. But I think that would make sense for me. So this one will go in the accountant nib, which is all about numbers and facts and things like that. I think that should be in the very nicely finished square one, because we're talking about squaring things, squaring your bank accounts and making sure everything is correct. So that works well with that. I think the stub nib, the stub nib, I kind of like that in the chiseled, because it looks like a chisel. But this one I think I would like a round base or oval in this pattern, this color, this black, mainly black, with some veining through it. Now I do have, I'll just show you. It'll take me 1 second because I found it. I lied to you. I know we promised never to lie, but I lied to you. I don't have one. I have a square. I thought I had a round one. And I'm pretty sure I must have a round one somewhere. I know there was one day when I just I had lots of slabs of marble and I just tossed them out. And then I remember someone in the building had slabs of marble, because they're an architect and they had sample slabs, and I could have saved one of those and drilled a hole in it. For God's sake, why didn't I do that? Because I wasn't thinking. Look at this. Look what I found over here. Isn't that a cool desk pen holder? It's a Parker socket, which I don't think is original to it. The Florsheim Shoe desk pen. Pretty sweet, huh? So, anyway, I at one point had these 3 desk pens on a little table, and because I didn't need to where am I going with this sentence? Oftentimes I got tables all over the house that have piles of pocket pens, and they end up rolling off the table, sliding under the couch, and then I forget where they are, and drives me crazy. So then I put these things there, and then I poke myself in the eye. Desk pens are an acquired taste, I think. But what's neat about them, just ignore the marble slab. What's nice about them is the length that they have, and when you're drawing, not so much when you're writing, but when you're drawing, you can hold them way back, and there's no bumps or caps to fall off or anything like that. You can really, they're like holding a paintbrush. If I were painting a painting, I would hold the brush way far back. And this is really fun, being able to sort of change your position. It's really, they're really cool. If any of you draw, the next time you're at a pen show and someone has a desk pen, see if you can try it out to see if this sort of activity works for you in a way that you might find pleasant or advantageous or what other word? Stupid. That's just stupid pure. Well, it might be stupid. It might in fact be stupid. But I've found that it actually is interesting for me to do things like this. These Waterman desk pens of this era, late 40s, I think, is when these pens came out. I kind of like this little trimmed off end. It doesn't come to a point. It comes to this. It's like a lipstick stick end. And there's something vaguely interesting about that. I kind of like the way the light hits it there. Come on, can I make it do it for you, camera? There we go, you saw it. I can send myself little semaphore Morse code. Doot, 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 doot. See how much fun I have, and it's not even 6 o'clock in the morning. So I'm looking for a round, back to my story, I'm looking for a round one of these, preferably smooth, edged. And I know I must have one here somewhere. I've got these things up the butte. But I think my choice of nibs, for 3 nibs, if these 3 pens were on my drawing desk, they probably would serve 90% of what I'd want any pen to do. Now, sometimes I want a really flexible nib for calligraphy. Sometimes I want a thinner stub for thinner writing, Gothic writing. But I think these 3 nibs, just these 3, are very close to 90% of what I'd want. Now, could any one nib do this? No. Could any 2? Maybe, if I had a very, very fine, very flexible nib, maybe this and this could be combined. But I think I've mentioned it to you guys many times before, but I'll mention it to you again. Having a restriction on paper size, on ink choice, on nib style, allows you to make make something or to write something. If you had the ideal pen, excuse me, not the ideal pen, but the perfect pen maybe, where just by using my thoughts I could change the ink from one color to another color, and I could change the size of the paper from 8.5 by 11 to 11 by 11, or 36 inches by 10 inches, or whatever. If I had this magic pen and magic nib and magic ink and magic paper, I think I'd end up not even beginning a picture. Every once in a while, I'll draw a picture and I'll crop it to fit a frame, or I'll take this part off because it's ugly or whatever. I'll trim it afterwards. But generally, I don't do that. Generally, the edges of the paper provide. A artist friend of mine said to his students that the first mark you make on the page is actually the 5th line you make, because these lines, even if you don't draw them on the edge of your paper, it's implied that this is the border you have. Normally, when I'm drawing, if I'm trying to plan something by sketching, I'll do that first. I'll say, okay, here's my drawing. And it helps me focus on how I'm going to put things within this drawing. If I just had a big old blank piece of paper and I was going to draw Santa Claus, oops, you're not even seeing what I'm doing here. I was going to draw Santa Claus. This isn't helping. And I had a unlimited space, I would, start drawing a hat and a face and a belt and shoes and stuff. But if I do this first, I'm aware of how Santa's big old round body is going to fit within this shape, these proportions. So having this restriction, I'm trying to get back to what I was talking about. To have this makes me be able to function, to take that first step. To have a nib that's fine and not very flexible in my little head with black ink allows me to think, okay, how am I going to draw? It helps me create if I have a restriction. So having the perfect pen is in many ways not possible for me as an artist, as a drawer and a calligrapher. For a writer, I think maybe if their emphasis is on words and wordplay and how many syllables for your haiku is it going to be, maybe you don't care about the nib very much because you have this other restriction holding you back. And but anyway, I think that when I tell people about a pen, they want to buy a pen, I sort of say, you need more than one pen. And I'm not just trying to sell them 3 pens when they only want to buy one. Let's say they have $100 to spend. I could sell them a $100 pen, or I could say, why don't I sell you 3 $30, $33 and a third dollar pens? Or maybe I can't sell them that cheaply, but 2 $50 pens. And you will probably love using one 90% of the time maybe. But every once in a while, you need that really fine nib to make that drawing of Santa. I am really hungry. I'm hungry. I've been up for too long a time and I'm hungry. And my 3/4 roommate brought back from his holiday Christmas dinners and stuff. I see all sorts of pie and things on the counter, but I know that he would, when they're in my house, he uses my kitchen, which is why the 3/4 roommate comes in. He says, well, you can eat anything you want that he buys, but I try not to do that. So I'll wait for the pie till later. Anyway, I'm looking for a round one of these, or oval for this pen, the rounded nib. Do you have one? I'm sure you do. I don't want to pay anything for it. No, I'm happy to buy it, but I'm pretty sure I have one of these things kicking around somewhere. I have so many of these desk pens. I'll just show you. Waterman. Could this work? Look at that, it's round and it has this white in it, but I have a pen for that already. These all have pens. Well, these are, oh, see, this is what I was thinking of. See, this is a Swan socket, and it says Swan on the back, so I really don't want to. The other ones were off-brand. What are these? Another square. See, here's another, that color. That was popular once upon a time, I guess. But it has a socket. That's a Schaefer socket. What's up here? Parker. These are Esterbrook. More Esterbrook. Schaefer. More Waterman. Parker. All of these have see, here's what is this? Oh, this is a wall Eversharp. I looked at that already. These are off brands. See, that's the color I want, but I want it. Okay, here's one. Here, maybe I'll use this. What's this? Does this say anything? Carter, I think. I don't want to use Carter. If I end up using Parker. See this case? All filled with pens, parts. And my desk pen parts. See, there's that color. Waterman. Look at all these desk pens. Oh my God. Skyline parts. Anyone want any desk pens? Okay, that's it. I don't have one. See? I'm wearing my chin zir, my brassiere for chins. Will the real Waterman desk pen please stand up? Really sweet nib, all three of them. Okay, bye.